For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Why are we so helpless as far as the serious crime problem that we are experiencing is concerned? Hello, welcome to another edition of NewsSpin, the most monitored talk show in the world. We'll be going on until 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'll be getting your input at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. We hope that you had yourself an enjoyable independence celebration. Whether you were in Castries, whether you are in Ansley, whether you were in Grosile, but I could just imagine what some of you went through, those of you who reside in V4, and to a certain extent, those of you over in Dennery. The facts of our crime problem in this country. We are at homicide number 17, and we are just into the second month of 2024. So there's a double homicide which occurred over in VA4 on Sunday, and at least 4 other people were shot and injured. That includes a woman who is in her late 60s, currently at hospital. The victims, 23-year-old Quincy Mathrin of Cedar Heights and Edley Silis. And over in Dennery, Grand Ravine Dennery, had another homicide, Bon Dimar, and that is homicide number 3, bringing to 17 the number so far for this year. In the meantime, what we are hearing, let us pray. That's what we are hearing. Cries for prayer.
People, brethren, whoever, whichever ones of you who can pray, please pray. There is war in Vieux Fort. Pray for our country. People, brethren, whoever, whichever ones of you who can pray, please pray. There is war in Vieux-Fort. Pray, pray for our country.
That's all it will take. I am not an atheist. I believe in prayer. I believe in a higher power. But I also believe that too often we are using God as an excuse not to take care of things that are within our control. God gave us a brain. God gave us a conscience. God gave us certain powers, certain abilities, so that we can act on our behalf. There are a number of things that we have absolutely no control over. Do not tell me as a people, as a country, independent country, 45 years old, and on that particular occasion, we are recording 3 homicides. The last independence anniversary, we recorded 3 homicides as well. And there is nothing we can do about the problem. We know that there are some criminal elements among us. They like to be armed. We know that 10 out of 10 times an illegal firearm they would have in their possession. We have a legislature. We have a cabinet. We have a judiciary. So what is the problem that we are trying to grapple with right now? Illegal guns and ammunition. How do you send a message to anyone who wants to be armed with an illegal firearm? What message do you send to them? And if you say that bail would be at a particular figure, you determine that it's going to be 50,000, you think it's exorbitant beyond the means of those criminal elements, realize the problem is still continuing immediately because it is an emergency. You revisit the issue and you say, well, for every illegal firearm, I'll send you to prison for 1 year. For every illegal ammunition that you have, I will send you to prison for 6 months. But let us be proactive. In the meantime, criminal elements are moving and roaming around the St. Lucia freely. They are acting with impunity. And politicians, they're just about making excuses. And if you have a travel advisory, say, man, it's at level 1. It's not a level 2. It's not a level 3. It is not a level 4. And so I don't know why people are, talking about this and reporting about it. The Prime Minister of this country, National Security Minister, wherever he is right now, maybe he's not listening to NewsSpin, but I'm sure that there are people who are monitoring the broadcast on his behalf. If the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce will not say it to you, if the Bar Association will not say it, Mr. Philip J. Pierre is enough, and I do not even believe that you are trying to address that problem. So here's the challenge. Vieux-Fort continues to be a hot spot. And even in the travel advisories, reference is being made to that part of the island. Recently, you visited the community, had discussions with some people there, had a few snacks. You walked through certain streets with your security guards in tow. Why don't you spend a few nights in Vieux-Fort? Why don't you set up camp in that part of the island, at least for a week, to understand what the people of that community are going through? After all, you are from another community that's considered to be a hotspot, a section of Castries East. So you understand what it is to hear a few gunshots here and there. So demonstrate your desire to put yourself in the shoes of some citizens at this point in time who are at the mercy of some criminal elements in our country. That's a challenge. The other thing you ought to do, and don't be afraid to do it, Mr. National Security Minister, is relieve yourself of that burden, that portfolio which is a burden to you. And what you should do, that's my advice, is assign it to someone else. Now, don't assign it to another politician. Through the Senate, invite someone who has the expertise, who has the capacity, who has the courage, who is not there to please any section of our country, but who just want to do something for St. Lucia that would result in our nation being stabilized. Give that person the job. Allow them to come through the Senate, but not to do anything at all, Mr. Prime Minister and National Security Minister, is to say that you just don't care. You don't give a damn about the serious crime problem that we are experiencing right now. You also must reinstate ASAP the K9 unit. How much value do you attach to the life of the people of this country? $40,000, $10,000, $5,000? And thus far, whether some of you hacks want to believe it or not, the government of St. Lucia has failed miserably as far as crime is concerned. Now, our main private sector organization, the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, will not say anything, at least publicly. When they meet behind closed doors, they have their little meetings, they'll talk about it, they'll lament the problem of crime in this country. But I could believe that, could you just imagine, and the evidence is there, your public sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, every now and then would issue a press release or two, would call on the National Security Minister and the Prime Minister of the country to take the crime problem seriously. In this country, I won't say unfortunately, in this country, deliberately, our main interest groups, our main organizations, they are not speaking loudly and forcefully as far as the crime problem is concerned, and calling on those people who are charged with the responsibility to keep it under control to do their job. If you were in the private sector, most of you would have had to either resign or you would have been fired by now. Let us stop saying, don't blame the government, don't blame Philippe J. Pierre, don't blame the police. It's a case of who will lead, who will answer the call, who will take to the airwaves, who will take to the television stations, NTN, etc., and speak loudly and forcefully to those individuals in this country who are causing mayhem in St. Lucia, spoiling our reputation in the process, causing people to fret for their lives. And that is the reality of what we are experiencing on the island on a daily basis. In the meantime, whether it's the level of the government, where you have a lot of social functions, the private sector, host of events, etc., and we're just pretending. You know, we have the capacity to lie to ourselves. We are pretending that everything is okay. Let's have our rallies. Let's pass on the baton in this independence relay. because St. Lucia is so much of a safe country. We are doing great economic development. We are recording high unemployment, but we're not focusing on the high crime rate. 17 homicides so far for this year. Let us compare that to Dominica. Let us compare that to Grenada. Let us compare that to St. Kitts and Nevis, not compared to Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. Shame on us in St. Lucia that we are allowing the status quo to be maintained, and it is more of the same, and that is why we asked the question, our NewsSpin question of the day. Why more of the same after 3 more homicides? And this month end, Prime Minister will be paid his fat salary. You know those fat cats in the private sector and the government. The government ministers will be paid their salaries. The police commissioner will be receiving her salary. All the PSCs, National Security, Home Affairs, they're receiving their salaries. And what do we have to show for this? Quite often, people make reference to low productivity in the workplace in St. Lucia. Low productivity. Our politicians, our ministers, they are not producing enough. The results are not there to prove that they are worth what we are paying them. So will we have another homicide later this evening, later this afternoon, tomorrow, and on Monday, and on Saturday? What is the strategy? What's the strategy from our government? Because it cannot be a situation where ordinary folks at the community level are the ones who should be leading any battle against crime. It is not the ordinary folks who decided one day whether it is because somebody wants to victimize another person or not that they should disband the K9 unit. No ordinary fool. You don't have that kind of power to decide that. It's maybe 1 or 2 government ministers who came up with that bright idea. And what is preventing them from reintroducing it? What is preventing them? Who is gaining from us not having a K9 unit? And they have to ask the question. Unfortunately, that's the impression somebody has to get. Because if the unit was there, according to Police Commissioner Milton Daisy, it was functioning, it was almost paying for itself, and somebody decided to disband it. Over a year now, and people are quarreling, people are making reference to it, people are, to a certain extent, agitating, and you are still not seeing the wisdom in reintroducing the K9 unit, then why aren't you having a change of heart on this? Let us listen to Stacey Joseph of the Emergency Services Unit of the St. Lucia Fire Service regarding those shooting incidents which occurred over the weekend. And very often we focus on 3 people who got shot. But what about those who were injured? You have about 6 people nursing injuries at our health institutions, gunshot injuries right now.
On February 22nd at 9:40 p.m., emergency personnel from the Dennery Fire Station were dispatched to Richford in Dennery in response to a call regarding a possible shooting incident. The responding personnel discovered the individual in a sitting position in the presence of police officers. The male patient, who appeared to be in his mid-40s, was assessed and found void of all vital signs. He was subsequently pronounced dead on the scene by a medical practitioner. Emergency personnel at the Viewfort Fire Station, with the assistance from officers of the Uranora Crash Fire Hall and Mikud Fire Station, responded to a call at West Hall Group, Viewfort, on Thursday, February 22nd. The call relating to an alleged shooting incident was received at approximately 7:50 p.m. 3 wounded individuals were identified as victims of the incident. 2 patients who sustained penetrating wounds to various parts of their bodies were transported to the St. Jude Hospital, where they were both pronounced dead by medical practitioners. The third victim, a female in her late 60s who sustained a penetrating wound to one of her legs, was also transported to the St. Jude Hospital. She was handed over to medical personnel in a stable condition.
Stacey Joseph of the St. Lucia Fire Service. Let us hear from businessman Kajada, Reno Kajada, who was on Newsmaker Live on Wednesday of this week. And many of you tuned in, and many of you since then have gone onto the DBS Facebook page. Think about over 11,000 views so far. So you found him to be very interesting and also controversial as well. One of the issues he addressed was, of course, crime, and he made reference to impacts.
Do you remember why impacts came about? It was restore confidence. Do you remember the period before restore confidence? We had a major issue with crime. When restore confidence came in, every crab ran into their holes. Mm-hmm. And that happened for 4 years. They disappeared for 4 years because something was done about it. Mm-hmm. What turned out of it? You know what turned out of it? The opposition party at any one time made it into something big political, like it was something so bad that had happened. And we still use it as a political football up to today. And nobody's concentrating on the good that restore confidence had done. So guess what? Are we waiting for it to get back to such a bad situation, and then all of a sudden, for the next 20 years, 15 years, it was bad, and because we're in a bad situation, it becomes good to do it again? We need to change that. And you know, the governments need to market it better than they are marketing it. That is why the people get it wrong. Do you see any reason why St. Lucia has to be recording those homicides? I see no reason. But you know what the reason is? Impacts has created fear into the police officers. So the risk that they would have taken before, they will not take the risk anymore because they do not have that support system that is going to cover them if something happens. What happens? The country falls apart.
Businessman Reno Kajada speaking during an appearance on last Wednesday's Newsmaker Live on DBS television. Let me hear from you right now at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through your comments in the chat room. Somebody just sent me a WhatsApp message. I would like to draw your attention to the cows at Shock. They pose a threat to motorists on the road. This morning I was driving on my way to work when a calf ran into the road, almost causing a serious accident. Thankfully, I was quick enough and smashed brakes just in time. Who is responsible for these cows? And will they repair any damage to vehicles? This is ridiculous. We know the owner. Like crime, like so many things in St. Lucia, we are not prepared to do anything about it. Let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Timothy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Timothy, with yesterday's incident down in Beaufort, Timothy, you know what's going on now? You know the guys are having more intel on the police than the police have intel on them. Because, to my understanding, just 10 to 15 minutes after the police left that particular area, the guys put their act down in our team. Mm-hmm. So you get the point I'm making there? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Kim, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Kimani, good afternoon. How are you?
Afternoon, Tim. I am good. How are you, Tim?
Not too bad, not too bad. I am very much concerned, a little incensed as well as to what is happening in the country because, like, as if, we are being pappy showed. It's so predictable. If on Wednesday, at the time we concluded our broadcast, we predicted that there would have been 3 homicides. By the time we came back on Friday, everybody said, boy, just spreading bad news, where you get this, what kind of prognosticator are you? How can you come up with such a prediction? But that is life in St. Lucia right now, because the authorities, again, they're not prepared to do what is required to seriously arrest that problem, as if they are benefiting from what is taking place in the country. As if no one is
How would they benefit them?
at least no one is, at least from my vantage point, they're not trying. Try some new things. You enacted legislation recently with regard to people with possession of illegal firearms, etc. If you have to tweak it a few months later, just go ahead and do it. You go to Parliament to do all kind of things, to amend the Constitution, to do this and to do that. Show some interest. Because I believe, we like to say people of St. Lucia are smart. They're not stupid. I concur. I think the people are watching. The people are taking note. They ought to take note.
But
Because
no action, though.
our government is lethargic when it comes to so many things. They're very active in the run-up to a general election. I'm sure you've experienced it. They do the house to house. Very energetic. Come with a notepad. And they have the voters list. And they want to know your name and your age. You have an ID card. You've been there. Get into government, they are lost. And let me make reference as well to the president of Guyana. Don't know if you took time to watch the speech.
I did.
See how he was so lucid, he was clear, and he focused on all the issues that are impacting the people of St. Lucia, as if he were the prime minister of the country. Training, being innovative. Spoke about AI, spoke about the health sector, a little bit of security. And we'll be hearing from him in just a moment, because he did ask a question. Is there a Guyanese in the house? And everybody started chuckling, because there was a Guyanese once there, Cocolorum. You know what they did to him? The people of St. Lucia, that is, eh? So, and everybody all of a sudden in the house, they're pretending they love Guyanese, they love foreigners, but we are hypocrites, though. We'll hear from the president of the Senate, Phil Reynolds, came her dad's passport, her Guyanese passport. We're hypocrites. We are hypocrites in St. Lucia. Day by day, I'm realizing so many things about my country. Anyway, the chat room.
Before I go into the chat room, I met a NewsSpin in Castries on Wednesday, and he gave me his card, and he said he wanted to shout out. I think he said his name is Sion Duncan Ferrari. He is a retired fisheries officer. If you're listening, Mr. Ferrari, it was really nice meeting you. But in the chat room, someone says, let's see, I believe the levy should now be used to pay for the K9 unit. The PM can change the persons in charge if that's what he chooses, but train someone who has no political affiliations. It's not about politics at this time, it's about our safety and livelihoods. Another comment, Tim, they had a strategy to win the elections, but don't have it to stop the crime. Another comment, sad state of affairs, when will it stop? Has the PM or the police commissioner addressed the nation? I'm asking because I haven't heard anything. With heavy police presence on the road yesterday and these shootings still happen, something is seriously wrong. I think they should stop that independence round the island thing for a few years. Another comment, I was thinking that at least an address to the nation would be announced for this weekend to at least reassure me, even if it would probably mean nothing. Someone says, I foresaw this happening. Everyone had a feeling this was going to happen. I even wrote to NewsSpin asking what measures were being put in place to protect the people for Independence Day. Yet still the safety of the good citizens of St. Lucia was ignored. Someone is asking, Tim, are you not tired of preaching that to the PM? Are you not tired, Tim?
I am not tired because I know what is at stake. And so many people in St. Lucia are quiet. So many people, for what reason, for whatever reason, maybe they have a stake, maybe they're benefiting, maybe as far they are part of the group of St. Lucians who are protecting the victory. If they say anything against the government, they believe that that will put the government in a vulnerable position and it might not win the next general election. So they're prepared to sacrifice the lives of the people of this country. But again, I will stress, I really don't see any glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel, because for me, the government is not a case of the government not doing enough. For me, the government is not doing anything at all, particularly in Vieux-Fort. It is a hot spot. We know it's predictable. Okay, those things are happening there. I mean, do something drastic, do something dramatic to improve the lives of the people. And for a moment, if we put ourselves in the shoes of the people of Vieux-Fort, if the Prime Minister does that, I mean, I challenge the Prime Minister, spend an entire week in the Mang. Spend an entire week there, honestly. Maybe, let's be kind, give him one bodyguard, one police officer looking over his safety, okay, responsible for his safety, and stay there with the people, line with them, and so on, to see what they're going through, because maybe you just do not understand. Grandmother, a lady in her late 60s being shot in the leg, she's lucky. I mean, last year, an infant, 2 years old, got killed. Yes. We don't understand still. We're not doing anything about it.
There's no urgency. Someone says, stop protecting the victory and protect the people. Another comment, I believe they should have a prayer service in every community when exchanging the baton. We have politicians extorting the country and getting away with it. You think crime will cease? Another comment, they're not making much of an effort to curb the crime situation. Someone says, elections have consequences. Choosing our leaders have consequences. Electing questionable characters to highest office in the land has consequences. Someone says, the best thing that's happening right now, they can't blame it on Shas. Another comment in the chat room. Someone says, Philip JPI is minding Alan Chancellor to prevent him from becoming PM again while the country diminishes with crime. Our loved ones are perishing and the government is protecting the victory. St. Lucia is in a very sad state of affairs. Someone says, well, Guyanese are very educated, so he has no choice to speak to their level.
A WhatsApp message. No one seems to talk about the mother of one of the victims killed in Vieux-Fort. He was the only son, not known for being in gangs. He worked at Vision Express, and he has relatives over in the Mang. He was at a barbecue.
St. Lucia is always getting itself in a bad place under the SLP. History will prove this, no doubt. SLP cannot govern. Tim, stop using these big words, LOL. These old people are asking, Kisa Itila. What big words did you use, Tim?
I don't know, can't recall. Still to come on the broadcast. Any Guyanese in the house? And also, who got more contracts from the government during the reign of the previous administration to conduct capital projects? A response, an answer in just a moment, as you continue to watch and listen to the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral.
796-285-7859, 285-3593, or 285-3329. Or send an email to customersupport@lucelec.com for assistance. Call 457-4433 to get bill balances. Use myaccount.lucelec.com for detailed account information and to make online bill payments using a credit or debit card or online bank account. Customers may also take advantage of SurePay's online or walk-in service. Lucelec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Rev up for the ride of a lifetime at the 758 Independence Drags 2024, happening at the base on February 24th and 25th. It's 2 days of pure adrenaline. Experience heart-pounding drag races where speed meets excitement. Bring your crew for a weekend filled with fast machines, cheers, and the pursuit of victory. Get ready to win big with loads of prizes. Over $30,000 up for grabs. Join us for the ultimate 758 Independence Drags 2024. Powered by our partners, the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, St. Lucia National Lottery Authority, Invest St. Lucia Tourism Authority, Caribbean, KFC, Automotive Art, Flow, Ken's Trucking Company, and Diddy Auto Imports. Produced by Payne Entertainment. Be there and be part of the excitement. Let the thrill begin.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more, so the tingo is more wet flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more wet flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp video. Stop unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 to activate.
Now that's the new vibe in the lingo. Yes. More upon more, say the tingo. It's more wet flow, now you really know. Catch it now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-road. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
The government of St. Lucia, through the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and Elderly Affairs, continues to provide more for pregnant women in St. Lucia. Through maternal and child health services under universal health coverage, pregnant women will receive laboratory and ultrasound services through community wellness centers during and after pregnancy, vaccinations, family planning to nutritional and mental health counseling. We are here to support you. take advantage of our weekly services at no cost. And from 1st June 2023, the addition of laboratory and ultrasound services will ease the pressure to aid healthier and safer delivery for you and your baby. Visit your nearest wellness center to register for universal health coverage. For more information, call 468-5300 or 468-5328.
Four 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's hear again from Mr. Reno Kajada. He admitted something during his appearance on last Wednesday's Newsmaker Live on DBS television. It had to do with who got the most capital projects during the reign of the previous administration.
That governments have their favorite contractors.
The governments do have their favorite contractors. Everybody have their
your favorite contractor of this administration?
No, I was a favorite contractor of the last administration.
Explain.
I did significantly more work under the last administration than I am ever going to be doing under this administration. But perception have it differently. So while perception under the last administration was Fresh Start got all the work, reality was different because I did maybe 4 times the amount of work that Fresh Start got done. In the last administration, I must have done 4 times the amount of work. But I was not a target at the time. Fresh Start was a target.
Businessman Reno Kajada, let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Rick.
I don't know how to start this really. I hope you won't mind if I say publicly that yesterday I called you to congratulate you on your last Newsmaker Live.
Yes, you did.
And to express my admiration for quite a while now. I have had admiration for Mr. Reno
Kajada.
Kajada. But what motivated me to call was not that I had listened, I had watched. For some reason, I missed Newsmaker Live. But a number of people were sending me a particular clip. And watching and listening to the clip is what motivated me to call you. And I want to say right now that this interview is one of the very best you have done for the content, mainly what's coming out of Mr. Kajada. I hope that you will be played. Well, it doesn't normally happen, but sometimes I think it should happen. Clips from that thing and discuss the clip itself per se with the general public, because it can be so instructive, so educational, and that if it's not discussed, then the people of the country are that less educated on matters of public interest. Having said that, Tim, I also want to point out that the people we admire are not necessarily people with no fault whatsoever. A lot of us do that. Because we admire somebody, they figure that person is incapable of sin, that person must be perfect in every way. I don't want to judge anybody, and I tend not to. But sometimes things are said from those very people that you admire for other reasons, and then you have to come out and say it. And hopefully those people are big enough to take that criticism. That's why they are successful, like Reno Kajada, because he's been able to handle this criticism. This is a long intro, Tim. I'm aware of it, but I hope it is instructive. I heard, now the things I admire him for, we'll discuss that during the week, because I hope you're going to be playing his tapes more and more.
Next week, because today's Friday.
Oh, next week?
Because today's already Friday.
Yeah, still is Friday, surely.
Yeah.
But the clip he chose to play there I found very interesting, where he talked about impacts on ORC, right?
Yeah.
You know, impacts on ORC, how many years now? 2011.
About that? Oh, I thought you said 2011. But that will be 13 years.
13 years, Tim, of yet a major unresolved issue. 13 years. Like the hospital, 15?
Yeah, 15.
Major unresolved issue. And we just move along like stupid rats, expecting the diseases, the rat diseases, to cure itself. We do not take any time.
But I've heard that rats are very clever. So I don't know why you say stupid rats, eh? Like stupid rats. Rats
those are stupid ones. Those are of a particularly stupid variety. Because rats here are very clever.
Yeah, cunning.
But sometimes I suppose you're too clever for your own good. Because if rats were that clever, they wouldn't get caught in traps and poisons, etc.
Right.
A lot of them escape, a lot of them get caught too. Okay? But I don't want to be distracted here.
Yeah.
We do not address especially the more telling issues. We will address foolishness. Who Rick went going to bed with? Who Tim built a wall? Who built a wall for Tim? Is Alan Chasney white? Is Philip Stutterer? All that garbage and foolishness that we dwell on that become the topics of our day in one version or another. But we will ignore what went down with ORC, what went down with what preceded ORC in Operation Restore Peace or whatever it was, Kenny's version of ORC. We will ignore the report that came out of the investigation that was broadcast to the world by a prime minister, not a fellow by the Vanden Market, by the prime minister. And also we will continue to ignore the fact that the former prime minister, now backbencher, said only last year that we have to resolve matters concerning impacts. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it is in that same conversation he said the police was scared, that's the word he used, to go into the hot spots, that they don't go into the real hot spots. And it's left to us based on what is contained in the report, because the report told the public not to trust the police, Tim. You aware of that?
Yes, I've heard about that, yes.
I heard about it. That was said by the Prime Minister. In effect, he said the report pointed out that the police faked crime scenes, planted guns, and all that stuff. That is not designed to make people have any kind of faith in the only protective police force we have, Tim. And it's also, I want to remind you about who the facilitators of crime were. And Kenny Anthony said that situation must be resolved. But we're not going close to it. So now it comes back to haunt us again. Somebody like Mr. Kajada is pointing out that the opposition, correct me if I'm wrong because you have the tape there, I am going to paraphrase, that the opposition profited from
by criticizing ORC, yes.
Yeah.
And the opposition then was the SLP.
What's that?
The opposition then was the SLP.
No, the opposition then was the leader of the party because he was the one doing everything.
Dr. Kenny Anthony.
Yes. And then he became prime minister. And we all know what he did and did not do. And yet he was last year, 13 years later, telling the country its problems, crime problems, are linked to impacts to the ORC matter. That remains unresolved and that must be resolved. He said that last year. Are you listening to how important that is to him? All those years, and Kenny Anthony is still talking about impacts and its importance, the importance of its resolution. And we don't stop to think, well, what is he talking about? What did the report say? What did the report say that we have no answers to, that we pretend he never said? If, in fact, he's concerned that with that aspect of the report, that says the facilitators of crime are government officials, businessmen, policemen, and politicians. I have said 100 times that the nation must be satisfied that that was bullshit, or otherwise that cannot be left to hang. And even Kenny Anthony can't leave it alone either. Thank goodness for that. But he mentioned it again last year, but we're still not going there. And here's when we're saying that the opposition party, which was led by Kenny Anthony at the time, made political hate out of ORC. And it was the same Kenny Anthony who who initiated the investigation into those deaths via a hotshot group from Jamaica, resulting in our commissioner of police having to resign, quote unquote, after the whole world was told he was complicit, that he turned away. What did he call it? How did he put it?
Well, you turned a blind eye?
He turned a blind eye. That means he was complicit in it. None of that has been proved, but it has been widely publicized, and it's in the minds of people, further giving them reason not to trust our police, and definitely not our politicians, who even now are doing nothing and insulting the intelligence of our people by giving them sweeties. I told you last week that how this advisory could have been used as a tool against crime, rather than make it look like it's proof that our crime is not bad. It's just one. We at number one, etc., etc.
Because right now, especially with those 3 homicides which occurred yesterday, it makes anyone who spoke about the travel advisory and where we rated look ridiculous, Because
it's only a matter of days.
The Canadians are watching, the Americans are watching. On the heels of what has transpired, if you were making reference to VA4 being a hotspot, you have gang violence and so on, this only confirms why the Canadians had to issue that advisory, whether it's at level 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Let me ask you this. We live in a small world. If Canada is listening, and they are, they would have heard our Minister of Tourism play down the impact of the advisory.
Yeah.
They would have heard him. And then 3 days later, we have this bloodletting. Now, how many people were killed last independence?
3.
3. Now, Tim, you would think, considering we've had a number of killings since independence last year, right?
Yeah.
You would have thought, and I've said this elsewhere, you would have thought that this independence coming up, there would be particular, and I underscore the word particular things put in place. Perchance there's a repetition of what happened last independence. Do we have any evidence that the police were out in force in the supposed, what they call them, crime, whatever, what do you call it?
The crime zone.
Crime zone, where the Prime Minister passed a law regarding, what do you call it, increased crime, accelerated crime.
Yeah, but I'll get it now. But it's a crime, yeah.
Yeah, but in any case, you would have thought, especially if you thought...
escalation of crime zone?
Escalation of crime. You would have thought, as Beaufort being one of those places, and mentioned in the advisory, that somebody within the police force, or somebody with control of the police force, might have suggested a particular effort, optics-wise, police around Beaufort on bikes and on everything else, letting Beaufort know, don't try anything.
Escalated crime area.
Escalated crime area. So you would have expected there would be a deliberate, relatively massive police presence as at least an attempted deterrent. I wonder how many police were involved in the independence celebrations. especially in Soufriere, Tim.
I don't.
I wonder how many police it took off crime work, crime detection or crime prevention or etc. I wonder how many. But we won't get answers to that even when we ask the questions. So this thing, at every time it happens, we repeat the same thing we said the last crime. We talk about, let me say this to you, Tim. Do you really believe that if you took off, if Philippe Pierre decided to stand down as whatever minister,
National Security Minister,
National Security, that there's anybody in his cabinet who would have a different impact or on the public trust, the confidence, etc., all that.
That is why, Rick, I said bring somebody from outside the cabinet through the Senate.
Okay, so
I said that earlier.
Well, I have a better, not better.
A different.
Yeah, my thing is that after all these years, it is clear we don't have enough manpower. It's clear. I tell you the way things are right now, you won't get volunteers for anything remotely connected to crime. Tim, there are some really horrible rumors going around right now that I dare not repeat on the show. And you know, when I hear things, they're usually quite reliable because I have my sources over the years. And it is associated with arrests that were made in relation to homicides in Beaufort. And I don't want to expand on that. And if I have heard those rumors, surely the police have heard them too, even as rumors. But the police cannot afford to dismiss rumors, Tim. The police have to follow up on rumors. Am I right?
They must, yes. You never know.
Well,
you never know where it will take you.
Well, those are the things, you see. We will continue to have that stuff if we refuse to investigate what Kenny says should be investigated, the facilitators, etc., and the report said. We will continue with a police force that he says is too scared to do, but a lot of people believe other reasons that the police aren't scared at all. You have those who may be totally nuts who say, in fact, like you hear it all the time, Tim, that the police are themselves involved. I have no proof of that, and I'm not saying that, but you know it is being widely said. Am I right?
Yeah.
So we have a police force that is under suspicion for various reasons. We have a police force that the Prime Minister of the day has told us we cannot trust because they plant this, they commit homicides and so on. He has told us that, and that has not been even investigated, and so on and so on. So what Mr. Reynolds says there is totally off. He's totally off on that. Everything he said today in that clip is totally off.
On what? On impacts?
Yeah.
But he's not the first person to have said that.
Yeah, but I am pointing out to you somebody of his intelligence, somebody that I admire, somebody who's a successful person in the country, somebody who's an upright citizen by all accounts, etc., publicly makes a statement like that. And yet we will not investigate it to make sure he's right or he's wrong. We just leave it alone as if it is a plan not to touch it for what it might reveal. You with me, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
That is rough stuff. I'm not accusing anybody. What I'm saying there just happens naturally. Only we are going against what is natural. And there will be retribution to pay for going against the obvious, Tim. Thank you very much.
All right, Rick. Thank you so much. Still to come, any Ghanaians in the house? And people are showing so much love for Ghana and Ghanaians these days. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. You are watching and listening to NewsSpin.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Coming soon, the same excellent Luselect service in a new location at Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci, Castries. Thanks for your patience.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more wet flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More pan, more wet flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video, can't stop. Unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 $ to activate.
Now that's the new vibe and the lingo. Yes. More pan, more sell the tingo. It's more wet flow, now you really know. Catch it now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
An exquisite 3-bedroom modern villa, panoramic ocean views, well-equipped modern appliances, a plunge pool. Bon Esprit Villa. For that quiet getaway in a lush green space. Your home away from home. Understated decadence, tranquility, and harmony. For special occasions and weekend getaways, the perfect escape. Bon Esprit Villa. Book now. Call 486-7965.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel, and shoulder pain, cramps, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Gouvernement Saint-Lucie ka travay ek ministre pour santé bien portant ek zafè grand moun ek ka offert plus pour femmes qui enceinte en Saint-Lucie. En bas plan Universal Health Coverage ek service pour maman ek riche. Provision ja faite pour femmes enceintes joindre service laboratoire ek sondage sans payer des sous. Yo kay joindre aussi vaccine, conseil pour bâti famille yo. Information à sou nourriture et conseil pour santé sévère. Nous là pour supporter vous. Venez et prendre l'avantage de service ça là tous les semaines sans payer des sous. Commencez le 1er juin 2023. Service laboratoire et sondage pour un rien qui aider mettre femmes enceintes en plus bonne santé et fait plus sauve pour maman et riche. Visitez Health Center qui plus pour là et enregistrez pour Universal Health Coverage. Pour plus d'informations, couillez 468 5328 et bien 468 5300.
Rev up for the ride of a lifetime at the 758 Independence Drags 2024, happening at the base on February 24th and 25th. It's 2 days of pure adrenaline. Experience heart-pounding drag races where speed meets excitement. Bring your crew for a weekend filled with fast machines, cheers, and the pursuit of victory. Get ready to win big with loads of prizes. Over $30,000 up for grabs. Join us for the ultimate 758 Independence Drags 2024, powered by our partners, the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, St. Lucia National Lottery Authority, Invest St. Lucia Tourism Authority, Caribbean, KFC, Automotive Art, Flow, Ken's Trucking Company, and Diddy Auto Imports, produced by Payne Entertainment. Be there and be part of the excitement. Let the thrill begin.
On Easter Sunday, the biggest brunch party in the West returns. Rise 4, the celebration. Easter Sunday, March 31st, Soufre Mini Stadium. Featuring international sensation Tennyson John and the DJ Project live. Also, MTX, A1 Jugglers, Sir Lancelot, Hype Kid, DJ JH Indalo, Levi Chin, DJ Irv, Power FM DJs, MC Donnerville. Easter Sunday from 12 noon, we rise.
Look at people in here tonight. That's what they do.
Regular tickets are $80 and $350 for VIP terrace area. Get your tickets online at www.tickets.com. Mambo's Bar and Courts in Soufre and Courts Ready Cash island-wide. Rise 4, the celebration, an Optimum event production. Platinum sponsors, Courts Ready Cash and Power 97.9 FM. Gold sponsor, Bank of St. Lucia. Other sponsors, Digicel, Piton Beer, Strongbow, and Island Sound.
From the early decades of the 20th century, St. Lucians traveled to what they then called Demerara and BG to seek their fortunes in the gold and diamond mines of your country. They discovered more than precious metals. They found wives and husbands, raised families, and built a St. Lucian community in the interior of your vast and beautiful country. Today, there is a St. Lucia in the mining town of Madia, I hope I pronounced it correctly, in the heart of Guyana, where one of our more famous and popular cultural traditions, the La Rose Flower Festival, is still celebrated, as it is also observed in that other mining town of Linden. My own father and his brother traveled to Guyana to mine gold and diamond, and my family was sustained for years on the income of Guyana's famous mineral. And evidence A, Your Excellency, my father's passport from Guyana. My uncle, to this day, continues in the mining business. Mr. President, I hold many fond memories of intriguing and heartwarming experiences relayed by my father of his time spent in places like Koropong and the Mazaroni River. It was through these accounts from my childhood that I first came to know of the hardworking, resilient, and welcoming nature of Guyanese. By the time St. Lucia gained its independence in 1979, many of the children of early St. Lucian immigrants to Guyana had begun returning to the island home of their parents, so that today there are industrious communities of Guyanese in St. Lucia, making an important contribution to the country. The long
So there from the President of the Senate, Alvina Reynolds, making reference to experience. Her father worked in Guyana. She benefited as a result of that. Displayed her father's Guyanese passport, etc. And yet still, we don't like Guyanese. Yet still, we don't like foreigners. Yet still, if a Guyanese were to contest elections in, let's say, ancillary canneries, win his seat, become a government minister with responsibility for tourism, we go into parliament, we describe him as a foreigner, we go on the hustings and the market step, etc. He's a foreigner. What is he doing in our politics? Why is he speaking? Why is he addressing such issues? Because he's a Guyanese. But as far as I'm aware, his father, that's Dominic Fede, his father was a St. Lucian, went to Guyana, met his mom there, and then the father, after a while, returned to St. Lucia with his family. What's wrong with that if he decides to contest the elections on a ticket other than the SLP? He wins. Embrace him. But all of a sudden, the President of the Senate and other members of Parliament on the government side, they're cheering for Guyanese now, making reference to their experience and their lineage, etc. And we are just being hypocritical. So, the President of Guyana, who addressed a joint sitting of the House of Assembly this week, Dr. Irfan Ali, I don't know if he knew the answer to his question or if it just was a rhetorical question, but he did make reference to whether there are any Guyanese in the island's parliament. Well, there was one. He was ridiculed, and the people of St. Lucia, based on what was said about him, decided that they should not re-elect him in the ancillary canneries constituency. Let's listen to the President of Guyana.
I don't know if you have any Guyanese around the table. But I mean, with 5,000, an approximate population of 5,000, I think we can carry some influence. But it is the integration. It is the integration, and that integration is key, because what that integration did was to allow Guyanese to invest here with comfort. Today, I think you have Barron Foods. They are part of the economy here. They create great value here. We have Respirera, create great value here also. I don't know if you have any Guyanese around the table. But I mean, with 5,000, an approximate population of 5,000, I think we can carry some influence. But it is the integration. It is the integration, and that integration is key, because what that integration did was to allow Guyanese to invest here with comfort. Today, I think you have Barron Foods. They are part of the economy here. They create great value here. We have Respirera, create great value here also.
The President of Guyana. So, as far as the SLP MPs are concerned, they love the managing director and the owner of Barron Foods. They love Respirera. But anybody who's from Guyana entering the political arena, rest assured you will be severely roasted in St. Lucia by our politicians, and you'll be seen as an alien, described as a foreigner. Loop St. Lucia is reporting residents of V4 have described a shooting incident in their community last evening in which 2 men were killed as like a scene from the war in Ukraine. From the words from the mouths of some of the residents over in the south. Residents of V4 have described the shooting incident in their community last evening in which 2 men were killed as like a scene from the war in Ukraine. What's happening in the chat room, Kimani?
In the chat room, someone says, by the way, Shas was born the same place, all of them running to save their lives, Martinique. Once you represent the Labour Party, you can come from whatever country you want. Telling Shas to go back to his country, lol, what a big story. Another comment, with the decline experienced with this failed government, we will be expecting a new government to reverse the errors overnight. I estimate this country has been set back almost 5 years subjectively. This will not be an easy task for a new government. All these loans taken are crippling to a new regime. We are in for a hard time. St. Lucia is hurting.
WhatsApp message, Tim, is the hypocrisy of the Labour Party that kills me.
Another comment, Tim, the Prime Minister said that he has given the public, the police, the tools to fight crime, and these tools are vehicles. So why haven't we heard the police driving over these criminals and having drive-by shootings? Because that's what I see that can be done with these tools. The police hands are cuffed behind their backs, and there's someone in government with the keys for the cuffs. Who can that be? Tim, you and those of us concerned citizens that are talking about the criminal activities in St. Lucia are making us look bad overseas, which I guess those committing the crimes are making us look good. Government is not responsible for the operation of the force. It is the responsibility of the police commissioner and the executive. So they are the ones failing. Shame on them.
What's a message? I don't know, but how comes or what will it take for the Prime Minister to realize that he is a failed PM? So what is amazing is that these men believe that they are doing a good job. I'm hearing that this was the best independence celebration this year. I don't know who assesses things of that nature. I can imagine the Prime Minister still does not want the crime reported. So please ask Rick to please be an advisor to the Prime Minister.
Someone is asking, what has Kenny said about this? Another comment, we need foreign subcontract police or mercenary police.
Somebody says there, good afternoon. There's no bail in some other islands for an unlicensed firearm, but you give bail to too easy in St. Lucia.
In the chat room, well, a YouTube comment, someone says, Tim, I want to retire and come home and enjoy the sunshine in my beautiful country, but my hometown Vieux Fort is not looking good.
Let us send for the former president of the Philippines, Duterte, to get rid of those criminals just like he did to all the drug men in his country. WhatsApp message.
Another comment, they need to arrest the minister Neem. They need to arrest the minister Neem, who was called in ORC. They tried to defend themselves when the Canadian told us to be careful. When we are going to St. Lucia now, see what happens just one day. Where are the so-called concerned citizens of Vieux Fort? Are they not concerned now? The likes of Julius Georges and company. Someone says, last night I cried like a baby. First time I cried, and it was not because of a goop well.
It was because of what? Maybe the crime?
I'm assuming
situation? So. Yeah.
Yes, Tim, I sat there watching the hypocrites who were telling Dominic he should go back to Guyana. Tim, we can't call people liars on your show, so we don't want you to call people hypocrites. Find another word. Will you still be calling them hypocrites, Tim?
That's a word that most St. Lucians appreciate and understand, you know.
If the shoe fits.
Yeah.
Another comment, serial killers behave like bees. They commit crimes close to home, but far enough that neighbors don't get suspicious. Similarly, bees collect pollen near the hive, but far enough that predators can't find them. Another comment, Tim, I thought Philip JPS said we would be announcing the minimum wage on Independence Day. He also promised a march before independence. Another comment, and the question remains, where are the groups? Raise Your Voice, Safe Spaces, Lions Club, and those I missed out. They all went quiet.
We have a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
3 times journalist of the year.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, question for you. If your favorite prime minister, the best prime minister for you, Madam Mia Motley, had to lie to the Bajans, what do you think would happen to her?
I don't know. I don't think she would be forced to resign, but she would be severely criticized. She'll be reprimanded. The Barbadian public would take to the airwaves and would castigate her.
For a man that lived in Barbados, for a man that knows a lot about Barbados, I am telling you, she would have to resign. She won't have a chance to lie twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, committing treason. That's what Pierre committed. That's what Pierre continuously committed St. Lucia. Treason. Continuously lying to the country. Especially when he said the 2.5% is for health and security. Do you think he'll be standing in office? No way. He won't stand a chance. But this man just continue lying to St. Lucians every day. Not once, not twice, every day. This man commits treason almost every day, Tim. Let me continue. When the great man was prime minister, during his tenure, the Mongoose gang went over the opposition, SLP, is to walk out all the time. Walk out, walk out, walk out, walk out, walk out. Now the great man is the opposition leader. They can't walk out. You know what they do? You know what they're doing now? Avoiding from speaking. Do you know why, Tim? I'll tell you and solutions why. They cannot debate. They cannot debate with the great man. They cannot debate with the great man. When the great man starts to speak, that's when they start to keep noise, so the people of St. Lucia cannot hear them. Cannot hear what the great man is saying. The great man has caught the SLP. In so much lies is amazing. In so much lies is amazing. He has won them in every court battle. Every time they challenge the great man, the great man beats them. Back the great man Salah Michael Shaste. Okay? Let me tell you, Tim. They write budgets. They write their own budgets. And when they come to the house and the great man question them, they cannot answer. You know how to explain it for them? Do you know who explains the budget for them? Their own budget for them? The great man. What that tells you? That tells me that they are dumb, they are backward, and they are stupid. They're just garbage. Okay? Have a nice day.
Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. I think we have another call, do we? No, we don't. All right, let's see if we could go through some of... do you have any comments in the chat room, Kimani?
Someone says, please, Tim, please don't take the bait. Wow, you have the right to remain quiet. Another comment, when one is lost for answers, the tendency to answer let's pray is the easiest thing to say. It's prayer for wisdom to understand and take necessary actions for remedy to the situation. We need to stop blaming government and let's start blaming us. We are not doing what we should do as parents, especially the mothers. Stop hiding your children's wrongdoing. This is my point exactly. They are trying to shut down VFORD. They are trying to get the VFORD people out by force because they demonized Chasney by saying they wanted to move the Bruceville people to build a racetrack and airport for political gain. Now they use crime to do so and they say it is gang related. Another comment, someone in the chat room says... That's what I don't like with the PM. He called people liars and he has been caught in his lies many times.
Our final call. Good afternoon to you. Go ahead, please. This is NewsSpin.
Yeah, good afternoon, Timothy.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, Tim, I want to answer. Somebody asked for the groups, the pressure groups. I mean, you cannot be talking about this thing, quarreling, Tim, on a daily basis. And nothing is happening. Sometime along the line, you will get tired. Because I myself have been talking about crime for a long time and nothing is happening. The persons that is in charge to see about crime, I'm not saying controlling crime, but to see about crime, to avoid crime, to look after crime, they're all afraid. Policeman is not working. DPP is not working. Magistrate is letting them guys go. As a matter of fact, the police is not bringing up the charge them. So something is wrong. Once the case is not being brought by the police, it will not go anywhere.
But that is not true, because maybe you have not been listening to the news, not paying attention. So many raids have taken place in St. Lucia over the last few months. So many people have been charged and hauled before the courts. So what are you saying there with regard to the police?
Oh, well, I take that one back.
Yeah, that
I
is
take
not
that
true.
one because I have not been hearing anything. I've
Okay.
been listening to the news, but I have not been hearing anything.
All right.
So what you're saying, I take this one back. So what you're saying, the police has been working.
They have been.
Okay. So if the police has been working, what is holding things back? Why somebody don't go to jail? Why we don't build a jail below the ground?
I think
to keep this guy?
what the police are doing is basically a drop in the bucket. Those people they are arresting just a small, insignificant number of people, and maybe the big fish. They are not catching the big fish.
So there is something fishy in not catching the big fish.
Mm-hmm. Something fishy about not catching the big fish.
Yes. So we are not equipped to catch the big fish.
Maybe.
So what we have to do then now, you see, I travel sometimes and the news I'm hearing overseas, look, somebody called a while ago and said I can come to my country. So are they waiting? That's my question to you, between the two of us. Are they waiting for us to get like Haiti? And when we get like Haiti, they're going to do something? Answer this question.
By then, we might need assistance from
the U.S.?
No, not the only U.S. Go all the way in Africa, get some police officers from Kenya. Huh?
So I don't know. Is it? Now, the other thing is, I'm seeing chaos, and I'll show you how I'm seeing chaos. If probably somebody decide, look, I'll take the law into my own hands, and there is an unrest, national unrest, is it what you call it? Every chaos, and everybody decide to take the gun and fight on the street, and the government will not be able to handle that. Is that what they're looking for? Because let me tell you, when the situation get to a standard, sometimes it will blast, like a hurricane. So there's a lot of things, certain guys that is in vow to take certain positions, and when they get into it, they don't perform, but they don't actually realize the impact that is behind this thing. You understand? When you don't perform, what is behind it? I don't know what to say again, Sometimes I feel as running, but where I'm going, I've worked all my life in St. Lucia. There's a time for me to retire. And I have been dealing with Viewfort from the time I was 15 years when I left school. Today, when I go to Viewfort, I go in fear. Because you can never know.
Were you a farmer, right? You were a farmer.
farmer.
Oh, I remember you. I remember. Yeah.
Yes. You see, that is the time I have worked a lot, and I got some assets, and I want to cool out. Can I really cool out after I've worked so hard as a farmer? Can I really cool out, When my kids are here, most of them live abroad. I always warn them, be careful where you go there. Man, there's some fear. Where you are not at ease. Your kids are not at ease. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have been asking the Lord, I don't know. But the other thing is, some of us, the thing is, who's going to bell the cat?
Right.
A lot of people is afraid of these things. Person's afraid of that. Who's going to bell the cat? Everybody is afraid. Look, these guys will rebel after us. That is the fear, If we go after these guys, what is next? But I don't know. Somebody has to bell the cat. Otherwise, this country, believe me, let me tell you something. I might not see tomorrow, but if this thing do not stop, we're going to lose St. Lucia. Because the only thing we have is the little tourism. We don't have agriculture. We don't do export. We don't have gas. We don't have mining. So if we lose this agriculture, we already see a trouble, I speak to big guys, businessmen in the partner. We in a lot of trouble in this country, We are broke like hell, We can't pay bills.
Apparently, the authorities don't know that, sir.
They know it. They know it.
Okay.
How they don't know it and they're borrowing so much. They can't even pay what they borrow. What they're buying for important places like the hospital and stuff, they cannot pay for it. Healthcare, they cannot pay for stuff they're buying for healthcare. Probably they're wondering why I'm taking this thing. I'm in St. Lucia for a long while, and I've dealt with a lot of persons. You understand? So if we lose, I'm just saying that to tell persons that if we lose the tourist business, the possibility is, what's next? Where do we stand? Let me tell you, we already in misery, in this country, man. Some of us, we a little bit all right, but those people in the lower class and the second class, these people is in hell, man. Even those persons that is in certain conditions making money, they cry. When they have to pay workers and pay bills, everything is expensive. These guys putting tax on us like licks. I don't know, water in Tokyo. You understand what I'm saying? Guys have no mercy, man. Every little thing is tax on our back. Doing bad jobs. Stop. Let me tell you something. You building a building, this government building a building. He doesn't care one damn. When he takes over, the other one he takes over. He stop that building. Who's going to pay the cost? Who's going to pay loss of use? Who's going to pay the lawyers? St. Lucia. That is what that killed the country. War in the top. You see, let me tell you something. The other thing, that's my last thing, because I'm going to drop out. Let me tell you something. These guys cannot stop the war in Vieux-Fort. You know why? There is war in the house. There is war on the top. You have to live by example. First thing is to unite on the top. When you guys unite on the top, there will be a consensus. You all will be able to think how to handle the country. You two governments come together. You all both are government. Whether you're opposition or not, you all people vote for you all. So you all sit together, come to a general consensus, and go and fight the problem. But up there is war. How can you straighten up things when the head is crooked? My brother, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
For thank you, man. Blessings.
All right. Nice to hear from you. Our NewsSpin news of the day. UK firms make 4-day work week permanent after world's biggest trial. UK firms make 4-day work week permanent after world's biggest trial. Our NewsSpin news of the day. And very soon, Kimani, we might have to host NewsSpin 4 days a week. Monday to Thursday. You approve it?
Of course.
And I'm sure that the audience, people who are watching and listening, they will give us their blessing to that. You think so?
I don't think so, Tim.
All right, finally, I was watching the baton relay presentation for Castries Central, which was held last Sunday. Then I saw this resident of the Marion home, Peter St. Pierre. You don't know this guy, but he was one time a well-known St. Lucian calypsonian, 1984 Calypso Monarch, and many of you would know him as Controller. And he took the opportunity to address a small ceremony, and later you'll be hearing a performance, the song Money Hungry, and that song was performed in 1991. But first, let's hear what he had to say.
Pleasure is mine. This is Peter St. Pierre, Controller. So many of you would have known him, and in Calypso Arena, he's a former school teacher at the Corinth Secondary School and the Master School. I want to tell you, welcome to the Marion Hall.
Money is the root of all evil. Money is food for the devil. Money could make them act so stupid. Never see coffee come crazy. They will sue for it. Money cross the floor for it. Money rent embassy for it. They want to sell off the bitons in order to get this. They want to rule with it. Money control with it. Money fight for it. They will take off their clothes and take over to get it. The money hungry. The money hungry. The money hungry. I said they're hungry, they're hungry, they're hungry for money. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Money is the root of all evil. Money is food for the devil. Money could make them act so stupid. Never see coffee come crazy. They will sue for it. Cross the floor for it. Rent embassy for it. They want to sell off the bitons in order to get this. They want to rule within, money hungry. Control within, money hungry. Fight for it, they will take off their clothes and take over to get in. The money hungry, the money hungry, the money hungry. I said they're hungry, they're hungry, they're hungry for money. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
They're hungry for money, money hungry, and that song was performed in 1991 by Calypsonian controller, his real name Peter St. Pierre. Good afternoon to you, Mr. St. Pierre, now a resident at the Marion home. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the most monitored talk show in the world. Here's to an enjoyable and safe weekend, and we'll be back on Monday, 12:30, with another edition of the broadcast. Goodbye.